So hi guys, today I'll be talking with you about these tools, and I don't even know how I found this bad boy. It must have been tucked away for somewhere because I don't even know when's the last time someone used this thing. So first I want to say that I got most of my information from this lovely, amazing book. It's so great. It's by Terry LaFleche, and I got this book when I first went natural, and I just have loved it. Like I read it like every day for a while. Sometimes when I'm bored, I just pull it out and it'll make me want to continue my natural hair journey to the healthiest. And she just gives such great information. So I'm gonna get straight into it. So for heat, our curly hair strands are actually very fine. As a whole, it appears very thick. It appears, you know, very full, but our actual single strands are very thin and very fine compared to other types of hair. Our curly hair is probably one of the finest there. So whereas you can see someone with a different type of hair, they can bleach their hair, they can, you know, flat iron it every day, and at night curl it just to have a different look, and wake up the next morning and the month after that and the year after that with glossy, fine, thick strands that come down to waist length. Whereas if our curly hair, we did that to our hair, we will wake up with our hair not in the healthiest state, and it will be much harder to grow, much harder to manage. So I'm going to tell you why that is. And again, for the heat itself, even when our hair is dry, it actually has a little bit of moisture inside of it, and water boils at 212 degrees, and most flat irons and most of these heat products, they reach well above 212 degrees. They can go up to 300, 400, and sometimes even 500. So imagine what this does to our fine and fragile strands. It can completely demolish them. So this water can actually boil inside of our head and create weak spots, and these weak spots, it can just break off at that point. And our cuticle, our hair is made up of many different structures, but I'm going to focus on the cuticle and the cortex. And the cuticle is actually our protective layer, so it's like our jacket, it's like our shoe. It protects everything on the inside, which is the cortex, which is the fragile and very vulnerable part. So when you flat iron your hair, you pretty much damage this outer layer, the cuticle, and with repeated use, you can completely ruin it and demolish it. So this leaves the cortex exposed, and once the cortex is exposed, there's no reverse. Your hair is damaged, and your hair at that point is so much easier to break off. So you can flat iron it, just something as simple as combing your hair once the cortex is exposed could break your hair off, and that leads to split ends, damage, and your hair not growing, and even worse, you know, actually receding, your hair receding, not your hairline. Once your cuticle is severely damaged in this heat process, there's no repair, and the only way you can get rid of that damage is to cut it off. And that's why a lot of the times when you see people who have very, very curly hair or just curly hair and they flat iron their hair a lot, they sometimes have those straight ends. It's damaged, so it's not healthy hair and it's not thriving hair. So a few tips on how I actually stayed away from heat. I don't own any of these tools. I don't own a flat iron, I don't own blow dries, I don't own curlers, I don't own hot rolls, I don't own any heat products. If I do, the reason I have those is because I borrowed them from my sister. The last time I straightened my hair was December 2012, and I borrowed my friend's flat irons and blow dryers. So that's the main way I avoid from using the heat. I mean, if you don't own these products, it's much harder for you to use them. You can't use them unless you ask someone. So it's much less convenient, and it's preventing me from flat ironing my hair, because sometimes when I was bored in my room, I would say I want to flat iron my hair, but I actually couldn't because I didn't own any of them. And the second tip is to let your hair air dry. On top of all of the damage that your hair goes through every day, I'm not talking about big damage, but just, detangling your hair, or the UV rays, or your hair maybe being a little dry because it's lacking of moisture, or the whole washing process. Those can actually be damaging to the hair, and that happens on everyday use. So you add straightening your hair and blow drying your hair on top of it, and that can just make our already vulnerable fine strands even more vulnerable. So to just let your hair air dry and to get rid of that, diffusing or blow drying every day will definitely do your hair a lot good.